listening to Artist Kaleidoscope with Nancy Tansey Busher. Our guest today is Patrick Tansey. He is the 2011 graduate of Venice High School, and he's going into a career of acting. When was the first show?
First show was last night. It was opening night.
He's playing 3 characters in the play The Elephant Man and had his debut last night. Tell us how you got into the acting business.
The question is, are you asking how did I get into Venice theater acting, or how did I get the idea to become an actor in general?
In general.
Well, it was almost like a New Year's resolution. I was watching a Will Smith movie. I just needed
Good role model.
Yes. I needed to do something more. The plan is to be a game designer. I want something else. And I was just watching this movie. Characters are different. Actors have different styles. I could get into that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Venice Theater and volunteered for a little bit while they were doing a film class there. Became friends with Ron Myrup, who is one of the writers there at Venice Theater. He was happy to see me, and he was stumped on something for the story. Like he had to switch something in the script, and he was trying to think of it. I'd give him an idea, and most of the time he would take that idea. I understand film very well.
Well, you've been watching films all your life.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's still a technical aspect of it that certain people just, I wouldn't say don't understand, but...
Some people are more adept at sitting and working quietly. Other people, they want to be out there, they want to be active, and you seem to be more the active type.
I want to be active. Like, I want to be the star, for one thing. Last night when Matt comes out, who plays John Merrick in The Elephant Man, second he comes out, everyone's standing up and clapping harder, and there's like getting the woos, like everyone's so excited. I'm just like, all right, next time that's me.
Someday that will be you.
Oh yes.
Yeah. You play 3 different parts. Tell us a little bit about the characters that you play, because they are all distinctly different.
Will, he's got the most to tell. Gareth, who is the other hospital orderly I play, he has no lines. He is there for background scenery as well as picking up props that are needed. Will is a young man. He works at the London Hospital. He's worked there for a little bit. He's got a wife and 2 kids. And the wife is sick. The sister is nursing her at the moment. I'm sitting there trying to make money. This new doctor comes, Dr. Treves. He's already the golden boy of the London Hospital. I just think it's unfair. I've been doing this for a while, and I get paid squat to mop and clean. And all of a sudden brings in this incurable to the hospital, which is irregular, and it's never been done. He just gets away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately, he's lost all my respect.
Mm-hmm.
When the Elephant Man comes and I'm cleaning up his room, I get the idea, Mr. Gom is using him to raise money for the London. Why can't I use him to make a little extra?
Right. Now, Mr. Dom is is he a board member of the hospital? He's quite influential in the hospital.
You mean Mr. Gom?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Gom is played by Neil Kazanovsky. Mr. Gom is actually he's like the chief of medicine. He's the top dog. There's nothing goes higher except for board members and stuff like that. And then Dr. Treves is like head surgeon.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Treves, he's not really the protagonist. The Elephant Man is the protagonist, but he's certainly major supporting role.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that in the play, when the other fellow walks by, Mr. Gom, when he goes by, you're very respectful. But when Treves walks by, a whole change of character comes across. I thought you were going to trip him with the mop, to tell you the truth. So it's obvious that you have a great respect for the first.
Yes.
And annoyed would be a gentle way to put it with Treves.
Yes. He's the star child of the hospital. I've been there for a while. I'm not getting noticed at all. No respect. I mean, I get fired just for bringing someone in to see the Elephant Man.
Well, now let's go into that scene. What was the thinking behind that? I mean, to the audience, we're not as familiar yet in the play with the characters, but it's obvious when you bring Snork in. Tell us what your motivation is, what you're thinking.
I'm bringing Snork in to make a little extra money to feed my family. I may work there at the London, but money's necessary while my wife is ill.
So actually, he's paying you then to visit the Elephant Man.
Yes, like I'm bringing him in just to see him, like, because everyone's disgusted by him. He's an ugly man, smells like raw eggs and other nasty things.
Yeah.
And so I'm bringing him in, and he just can't control himself. So he's like, "Oh, God Almighty!" And then
Makes
Miss
a scene.
Treves and Mr. Gom are there, and it's just like, "Oh crap! I didn't see this coming." And so I'm trying to usher him out, get out of there as quick as I can. And when Treves starts talking, I'm infuriated by it that this new guy talked down to me. Like, how dare you?
He's not exactly the new kid on the block.
He's new to London, but he's been around the hospitals. So it's like, sure, you know what you're doing, but you can't talk to me like that. Got a smug attitude towards him. Like, he isn't a patient, sir, is he? He's like, didn't know you were here, sir. We'll be off now. And
So you're finding that the more you do it, the more in character you become.
yeah, when we were doing rehearsals, and especially when we didn't even have the stage or props or anything like that, we were just going off imagination. It was a little difficult because it was like, I can only imagine so much before it just starts breaking like the fourth wall. And I'm like, one of the things I talked to Ron Myrup about was like, how do you get into character? Like, I just don't understand like how to differentiate between yourself and character. So he just said it's something you got to do for a while before you can actually get into character.
We had talked at one time about theater versus movies. That if you've ever been in a movie, when you're watching a movie where they change positions, it's a whole new scene.
Yeah.
And those are difficult. Somebody, it won't be the director, but it'll be some underling. He'll come up and he'll say, okay, this is your motivation. The train has just crashed in the subway. Everybody's still in shock. There's your motivation. We'll try it once and see how it looks. And at that point, he turned to one of the fellas and he said, you're out. I mean, no, nothing sweet about it. No, gee, Mr. Jones. And as the guy's walking away, he mumbles something like, some people are just made of wood. So apparently he didn't like the way the fellow was acting.
Yeah.
You sit and you watch a movie and you think, oh yeah, I could do that. Oh yeah, I could do that. But you actually get into a situation, you may not be able to. You may need to know what your motivation is. If you've got a major role, there are actors and actresses will study for weeks just getting that character down. And some will live that character throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
So they don't lose touch.
Sacha Baron Cohen. I know he played in The Dictator. He's like one of the last method actors of the type of acting. He stays in character like indefinitely until the movie, like just so he doesn't lose it. I remember watching, I think it was the Colbert Report or the Daily Show with Jon Stewart. He came on and he's still got the whole getup of the Dictator because it was just about to come out. So you got the whole thing going. He's talking like it. He's even acting like it towards the commentator. So it was just like, it was just so weird to see. It's, man, that's got to get kind of annoying after a while.
If not to the person himself, but people around
Yeah,
him.
it's like people are like, I want to interview you, not your character, you.
Yeah, really. Okay, now then, the quiet one. As the play starts, you are the mopping boy
As well.
that eventually gets fired.
Yes.
You are the policeman,
Yes, I'm the Belgian police officer.
and you are the
I'm the new orderly.
new
Gareth.
orderly.
Yes.
Yeah. The new orderly he doesn't have any lines, does he?
No.
No, but he sure has a lot of stage presence.
Yes.
So of the three, which was your favorite?
Well, I kind of like the Belgian police officer because I get to hit people. But I think it was more Will because he was like I could relate to him a bit, just being kind of smirky towards your bosses. I've always wanted to be like that. When in the very first scene when I'm mopping outside in the hallway and Treves comes up and I block his way and I just sit there for a while and then go around him.
Make him wait, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, take that. Thank you. That's what I liked about it. The Belgian police officer was good because it was like I was in control of the whole scene. I was like, the only problem was that the guy who plays Ross, he's a foot above me, or he's got a head on me. So it's like, I think you were better off having me as the other policeman, as the London policeman, because originally I was the conductor, but then we switched that in the middle of it, and then I was going to be both policemen, and then going from that scene to the next scene.
Too quick.
Yeah, it was like, there's no way. Peter cut that out, and it was just Will, Gareth, Belgian police officer.
Pretty good, by golly. First time on stage and you have 3 separate characters to play.
Yeah.
Do you see anything ahead? There are going to be other plays yet this season. But it may be too soon or it may be too late in the season. Do you have a feel for that yet?
If I'm going to do something after?
Mm-hmm.
I plan to. I know Ron, who does the film classes, he's writing one now that he wants me in, and I'd rather do film, personally, because I like to take one, take two, take three, take as many as you need. I like that concept, as well as with stage acting, it's do it for 2 weeks and then you're done. With filming, it's like just get it done.
Yeah.
And we're good. The stage is nice because it's always a new crowd. Mm-hmm. And as well as the film class, because it's a guerrilla film, it's not Hollywood, obviously.
So it's not an A film or a B.
Oh no,
this is K film or
pretty much all the way.
Must be a G film.
Yeah, it's we're doing it more to get the idea of it and just have fun, really.
Mm-hmm. Everything builds experience.
I'm doing stage acting now, but film completely different.
Yeah, really. I don't know. I think it would be a good idea to be able to do both. With seasons the way they run, you'll have more work if you're not so limited.
Yeah. Ron had actually wanted me to audition for Cabaret, which is a musical, as well as Rocky Horror Picture Show. I could only do one or the other because they kind of intertwine. Mm-hmm. While Cabaret is going on, they're doing rehearsals for Rocky Horror. Looked up Cabaret, and it's just not my thing. It's also singing in front of a crowd. I don't have a problem singing in front of people, but it's like when I miss a line, like last night when my tongue got stuck to my mouth, and damn, I messed up my line. But then when I talked to one of the patrons who had come in, she had said, "Oh, it just seemed like you were befuddled, you were getting fired." So I was like, yes, that's perfect. Exactly what I was doing.
That's right.
I meant to do that. But it's a lot different, stage acting, than film.
In Venice, used to be Venice Little Theater. They don't want to be called Little anymore.
No, they get very upset.
Yeah, they have 3 stages. Because one is a cabaret, and then the main stage is where your play is.
Yes, I think they only have 2, though.
I was second row center. I didn't miss a thing.
Yeah, I think when you're up that close, it's almost impossible, especially when you got trees and gum talking 5 feet away from you. Like, you hear everything.
It really helps. I like to be up close, but you know what? I did, when I was in school, I'd sit up. Maybe it has to do with I want to be able to see and hear everything clearly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When we were doing rehearsals, I would come out and I would sit in the audience just to watch it from their perspective and see how it was. I was always in the far, far left area, almost the last seat on the left, a couple rows back, trying to watch it. You're sitting there and they're getting their shoulder and it's part of their face. You do want like the center, but then again, you also kind of want more right off in the center. You get like a good view of everything.
I love theater. I had a chance to see Phantom of the Opera in Chicago. We had box seats, like second or third level up. We're coming to the climax, the big chase scene. I feel something brush against my leg, and I look down, and crawling on the floor in our box was one of the ushers. As soon as he bumped me, he said, "Oh, excuse me." He says, "But I really want to see this. Watch this." The Phantom is running across the bridge, and he jumps off and disappears in the mist.
I'd be so terrified I'd miss. Especially if they don't have their smoke machine going like we didn't last night.
Oh, really?
The second scene when Ross is in there showing off the Elephant Man. Tuppence only, step in and see. There should have been clouds of smoke everywhere to display London in a fog.
Okay, because I know when I saw it, there were 2 misty scenes. And one was the London fog.
There should have been in the scene after me when I'm the Belgian police officer when he goes from Ostend to London. Because they get to Liverpool Street Station. Should have been a huge puff of smoke, which was the train coming in, and that's when they come out. But the machine short-circuited or something.
Well, any play you do, whether it's a play or whether it's a movie, you're going to find there are mistakes. It's tougher in a movie. You have so many people double-checking. You go on IMDb and look up the trivia.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times. Continuity of it.
It happens in theater, too.
Yeah, I know the first night of our preview, it wasn't locked in place. I remember the scene where I get fired. Snork was stepping on it a little bit early just to kind of be like he's walking out, and all of a sudden, it started to glide away from him.
Oh my gosh.
So you're like in the middle of the show, it goes away, he just quickly brings it back, and I was like, okay, watch that. Luckily, there's only like 2 or 3 scenes after that, so it was like, all right, intermission, John, yeah, you gotta fix that. It was quite a hassle, as well as that first preview night, Rick, who plays Ross, slipped off stage I couldn't stop laughing the day it
Oh
happened.
my gosh.
Like,
He must not have been hurt.
he scraped up his knee a bit. He's with the Elephant Man and he turns to leave the scene so he can come back later. It looked like his foot caught, but he was saying he completely missed the platform that he was already standing on, so it was a step down that he didn't see coming. So he just fell down, slipped, landed on his knee, and got back up immediately and kept going. Like, I was laughing because it was like I thought I would be the first one to fall.
Yeah.
But he recovered so quickly. Neil, who plays Gom, they'd be doing the scene and all of a sudden he'd have to cough to clear his throat, and Peter would be like, I don't know who's coughing back there, Neil, but you better find them and stop them. So it was funny.
So now that you've had this opportunity, and I know you want to play other characters in the future, working with a small theater, people have to do more than just their one job.
Oh, yes.
And so it gives them an opportunity to get into things like costuming and makeup and soundstage and lighting and so forth. Did you have an opportunity to do any of the backstage things?
The only thing would be moving on scenery, like switching from scene 4 to 5. When we go from Liverpool Street Station to the hospital, it was basically just bringing on the table, the door, the bed. When it came to behind scenes, an actor like switched costume really quickly because the scene where Dr. Treves first meets the Elephant Man and he says he wants to examine him at the hospital. He goes from there to the hospital. When he comes off stage, he's got to put down his hat, take off his jacket, put it down, put on a lab coat, get a new pointer, take a sip of water, and go out. The night before, when he went to go do it, he was trying to put his stuff down and it was getting too difficult, and he just ended up throwing it down, putting on the thing as quick as he could. Didn't even have time to take a sip of water because the light had already come up, so it was like, all right, get out there. They've got tech people to do it as well as the actors have been doing it during rehearsal.
Did you have an opportunity to see how the lighting is handled?
How they work it or how it changes?
Well, how they work it so that it changes.
I didn't really watch it. I know it's mostly done by computer and...
Somebody has to be observing, though,
Yeah.
at all times.
Yes, I know they've got Dorian who does the sound and lights. I think he just broke his wrist too. Like, I don't know what happened. He broke it. His hand's swollen like a balloon. He's doing all of it still.
So you know, that's how it is in theater. The
Yes.
show must go on.
Oh, of course.
You know, sorry you have a broken leg. Walk it off. Let's
Yeah,
go.
they were actually telling me a story. I want to say her name was Nancy. They had a platform that was like maybe 2 or 3 times the size of ours, and she decided to take a dive off the backwards. Foot didn't reach the stage, and bam, she falls. The crowd is like, "Oh my
yeah.
god!" Like, is she okay? And she's like, "I'm okay." Gets up, she does her entire thing without breaking character at all, and once the play's over, goes to the hospital, finds that she has a broken rib. So it's like,
Oh yeah, they can be hurt badly, especially if they fall off the front of the stage into what is usually the orchestra pit,
yeah.
because it's dropped down even further. And there are things they can land on, you know.
Oh yeah,
it's-
trombones,
yeah.
those things. But like when they told me that, I was like, see, that's the kind of actor I want to be. Like, don't break stride, even though I wouldn't consider that small.
No, that's...
Broken rib's not small.
What's your ultimate goal?
At the Venice Theater or in like overall?
Well, either one.
Venice Theater, it's mostly just to get experience, maybe to be recognized, but that's not gonna happen until I have a legitimate role. I want the lead role.
Well, it will, because the more you're in,
Yeah,
the more you're going to be recognized.
yeah, but my overall goal is to eventually go out to California or New York and do casting calls like crazy. And I know that they're not going to really want someone who's never had experience, so I mean, a little stage time is better than no stage time.
This is a great area to get your start in, because you've got Venice Theater today, you've got Florida Studio Theater tomorrow. You know, in time you'll be doing Oslo, because it is...
It's a great repertoire theater. They get like 12 to 1,500 people every semester trying to audition, and they only accept 12. So it's like, man, if you can beat all those people.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine being able to put that on your resume? Wow.
Yeah.
That would
And
be
I
great.
had read something where if you're there for like 2 years, you get like a master's, I think, in acting and performing arts.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Exactly, that's why. But
Have you had any training?
I took intensive scene study at Venice Theater, where I was Biff Loman in Death of a Salesman. That's one of the things that helped me also get noticed, because Candace would tell other people about me.
This was a skit that you were doing.
Yeah, it was class, it was a group of 6, but it was split off 2, 2, 2.
Okay.
There was Maggie Taylor and Suzanne, they were doing Agnes of God.
Oh, uh-huh.
Angela, who actually is one of the pinheads, and she's the Duchess in Elephant Man. She was also in the class too. That's how we met. She was doing Rabbit Hole with Victoria, and then there was me and Robert who were doing Death of a Salesman. I'd never done anything before that class, but it was like, I understand the concept. I've got great common sense, and I'm so thankful for it. There was what we call a wanderer, where you'll be in the middle of a line and they'll want to walk around. They'll just, their feet won't stick. And he would do that.
That's called upstaging.
When we were doing our last showing, I'm in the middle of my line to him to talk to him, and he's upstaging me, and he's standing directly in front of me, but feet keep moving, like he's moving back and forth, like right in front of me.
There is going to be a lot of frustration. The business, it's an energetic, ego business. People that are good actors are sensitive people. That's why they're good at what they do. You're going to find a lot of people do want to upstage you or step on your line, so to speak. Not let it bother you.
Yeah. I wouldn't say this really got in the way, but Matt, playing John Merrick, at the top of Act 2, at the end of the first scene, he hands me his old cane, because he got a silver-topped cane from Lord John, and he gives it to me, and he always says something funny and off-putting just to mess me up, and he hands it to me. He says, "You look just like that guy who got fired." I just started laughing. There's another one where, when we're supposed to be sitting there talking, he's looking at me at the store, he's just like, "I'm peeing. I'm peeing." I just laughed at him so it looked like we were talking and joking.
I was in a play called The House of Bernarda Alda. I love doing props. They were having such a good time on stage that they would come off stage and they would start cracking on one another. They were having such a good time. You gotta love it.
There's something about working in the theater, so many jokes. Some too raunchy to mention, some that are just right. It's just hilarious. My character Gareth, originally it was going to be the glasses and a mustache. So I had this big black mustache. Oh, the jokes Rick, who plays Ross, could tell. Oh, they were so... Gene Shalit called. He's looking for his look back. Because then I was the Italian cook. A spicy meatball and all that stuff. It was hilarious. Because when I looked at myself, I was like, just give me some tools and I'm a barber. Like,
Yeah, really.
Well, one of the cool things I was telling my dad about was just looking at that one little prop on my face and the glasses, and I was able to fit a bunch of different roles. I was thinking to myself, it's amazing that this little prop would get me a part in a couple different things.
You know, it worked very well because we all saw you get fired and we all saw you walk off stage. And then when you came back on, it took a minute to realize. I was very, very impressed.
Last night, after I got fired, during the next scene change, we go out there and we help the Elephant Man get his shirt on and take out the tub. I was talking to Gary, who plays Snork, in the back. Do you think I should go get dressed up as Snork for this scene change? I mean, Will's gone. He's done. Yeah, do it. I think it would help better anyway. It would.
That's right. Stay in character. I think you did a wonderful job. It was fun to watch someone have their stage debut. It was especially fun when you were the opening act.
Yes, that was one of the first things when Peter told me, he's like, "You're going to be the first one out on stage. No one else. Just you for a good 5 minutes mopping." I was like, crap. Last night, when Murray Chase, he's listing off all these other things, like, he dragged it on for another probably 3 minutes than what I was used to. I have already mopped this whole thing, technically. It's like, okay, dude, you're gonna have to cut out eventually, because I'm running out of stuff to make it believable. I'd look at a spot, and I would just mop it a lot harder than the other ones. I would, like, wipe my forehead. It looked like grueling work. By the end of it, like, right when he stopped talking, he's like, "This is the Elephant Man." I was like, thank God he stopped. I just looked at the floor and I was like, not a bad job. Not a bad job.
Okay. I hope you keep taking lessons.
Yeah, Peter, who directed it, he's actually taking an audition class during summer, which is off Michael Shurtleff's book, Audition. Great book. Great book. When he's writing the book, he's talking straight to you and telling you all these stories that he's been through. Some of the things just blew my mind. The guy in the scene was supposed to be in love with the girl, but in reality, he hates everything about the girl. The way she acts, her character, he hates her. So when they try to do the scene, and Michael stops them and he asks them all these questions, like, well, why is this so difficult? He's like, I just hate her character, I can't do it. He talks them through all this stuff to get down to like the nitty gritty of why you should like the character. And by the end of it, they're like, I did not think of that at all. One of the things that Peter Ivanov told me is there's no such thing as a good or bad character, just a misunderstood character. He was also telling me, I forget the word, I want to say it's like demicore, which is like how you look and present yourself as well as what you see through your eyes that help define a character. Late one night, we were talking about it. As you, there's a phone over to your left on the table. It's about 10 feet to it. It's a very important call. How does that look to you? Just looks like I'm walking to it. Doesn't look that difficult. He's like, that's right, that's right. Now imagine you're an 80-year-old man with a cane. And you ever notice when an old man has to walk someplace, he doesn't walk, he shuffles his feet? What happens if you fall and break a hip? You're gonna die.
Yeah.
That important phone call for you just seems, hey, go over there, pick it up, answer the phone. Whereas if you're an old man, I'm gonna take my time. I'm not gonna risk breaking a hip and dying. I work at Public, and as you see a lot of older folk. Leaving yesterday, I was letting this older gentleman walk out in front of me, and he's shuffling his feet, trying to catch up to his wife. Kind of makes sense now.
Being a good observer will make you a better actor. Do you have anything in the way of a web page?
Just Facebook.
If you did any acting?
I did do a small one in elementary school. I played a lawyer, and it was so bad.
How old were you? 7?
Probably, yeah. 7 or 8, 2nd or 3rd grade. This is a cafeteria. From left to right, there's parents galore. I play the judge. I go through all this stuff, and then at one point I try to be dramatic, and I throw the thing in front of me as to add to dramatic effect, and I have to bring it back and then find my place. I couldn't find my place. Now I'm thinking, it's like, what was I thinking? I should have just done it. I could have blown that out of the water.
That's called self-confidence.
No,
it takes all those years to develop that.
I used to have none.
All right, now, are we going to give your Facebook address or an email address? Maybe you ought to develop a new one just for this.
Only acting stuff on it? Okay.
This has been Street Talker with Nancy Tansy Busher, brought to you by Busher Consultants, your team of writing specialists. We hope you will join us as we meet more artists, authors, musicians, and craftsmen on Street Talk.